Good morning, children. How are you? Again, I am in front of you with one more part of the lesson. Children, we are dealing the lesson current electricity. Up to now, we have learnt current, potential difference, and relation between V and I in the form of Ohm's law. We have learned about ohmic conductors, non-ohmic conductors, okay, and what is R and its unit. So today we are going to continue with the next part of our lesson. So coming to the limitations of Ohm's law, we have learned that V is proportional to I, where temperature is kept constant. And we have learned in Ohm's law, ohmic conductors, the graph plotted is linear, whereas a non-ohmic conductors graph plotted is non-linear. Ohm's law is valid for all metallic conductors provided that temperature and other physical conditions remain constant. Physical conditions means here the length as well as area of cross section. We can call it as thickness also. The resistance of the material changes with temperature. While performing the activity, the circuit should be on and off while noting down the values. If it is always on, the resistance of the material changes because as the temperature changes, resistance also changes. Hence, when you plot the graph for the V and I, actually it should come a linear, we will get a non-linear. Okay. And one more point is Ohm's law is not applicable for gaseous conductors. Okay. And also for semiconductors. I hope you know what are semiconductors. Semiconductors are like a germanium and silicon. Okay, next listen carefully here, children. In the last part, you have learned what is resistance. Resistance is the ratio of potential difference with respect to current. Okay, but we know when a conductor is connected to a battery, the free electrons start moving with a drift speed in a specified direction. During the motion, the electrons collide with the positive ions. Already we have covered this of the lattice and they come to halt. Which means here these electrons lose mechanical energy in the form of heat. Due to the electric field that was set up by a battery throughout the conductor, these electrons regain energy from the field and they proceed to move. So the motion of electrons is obstructed by the lattice ions. But the obstruction offered to the flow of electrons in a conductor by the lattice ions depends upon the nature of the material. So, therefore, the resistance of a conductor is defined as the obstruction to the motion of the electrons in a conductor. Okay, and one more point is the material which offers resistance to the motion of electrons is called resistor. So, you have to remember that uh, more is the resistance, there is an obstruction to the flow of electrons. What is the obstruction to the flow of electrons means the electrons will not move in a conductor. As electrons will not move, it will not constitute any current. So more is the resistance, less will be the current. You have to remember here. Okay, less is the resistance, more will be the flow of current. Already we have learned the ordered motion of electrons is your current. Okay, you have to remember in this way. The resistance of a conductor is defined as obstruction to the motion of electrons in a conductor. So the picture what you are seeing is nothing but resistors, or we can call it as a resistance also. So actually we have learned that resistance of a conductor means the obstruction to the flow of electron through it. While representing diagrammatically, this obstruction is represented by hills. Okay, the other one is variable resistance. Actually, it is a symbol for rheostat. In a circuit diagram, we represent like this for the rheostat, which can vary the resistance in a particular part of a circuit. Okay. So coming to electric shock. So let us assume that our human body is a resistor. So the resistance of human body generally varies from 100 ohms. 100 ohms means if a body is wet with salt water, to 5 lakh ohm if our skin is very dry. So let us calculate the amount of current that flows through the human body. So let us assume you have touched uh, the two electrodes of a battery, which is the 24 volt, with the dry fingers in such a way the circuit is complete. Then let our body's resistance be 1 lakh. Then the current flowing through your body is given by, we know that I is equal to V by R. So that is 24 by 1 lakh. That gives you 0.00024 amperes. This current is very small. Okay. When that small current passes through the human body, it does not affect the functioning of various organs inside the body. So what happens to our body if we touch a live wire of 240 volt? The current passing through our body when we touch a live wire is 0.0024 ampere. So actually each gadget in our house requires 240 volt. Okay, these 240 volt we get from mains. Before and all we used to have a stabilizer to stabilize the voltage, but as per the new technology each gadget is with inbuilt stabilizer. Okay, now just you remember in this way the current passing through our body when we touch a live wire is 0.0024 ampere. When this quantity of a current flows through the body, what happens? The functioning of organs inside the body gets disturbed. This disturbance inside the body is felt as electric shock. If the current flow continues further, it damages the tissues of the body, which leads to decrease in the resistance of the body. When this current flows for a longer time, damage to the tissues increases and thereby the resistance of a human body decreases further. Hence, the current through human body will increase. If the current reaches nearly 0.07 ampere, it affects the functioning of the heart. For more than 1 second, it could be fatal. If this current flows for a longer time, the person in electric shock is being killed. So we can remember that an electric shock can be experienced when there is a potential difference exists between one part of the body and another part of the body. When a current flows through human body, it chooses a path where it offers low resistance. The resistance of a body is not uniform throughout it. So our skin offers more resistance than the organs inside the body. So as long as the current flows continues inside the body, the current and the resistance of the human body goes on changing inversely. Already we have learned that current and resistance are inversely related to each other. So we have to remember that electric shock is a combined effect of potential difference, electric current and the resistance of a body. Effects of electric current on the human body. So current level is given. What is effect? So below 1 milliampere. So below 1 milliampere means it is 1 into 10 power minus 3. You remember in such a way. Okay, generally not perceptible. 1 milliampere might feel a faint tingle. 5 milliampere slight shock but not painful or disturbing. The average individual can let go of the current source. Next, 6 to 25 milliamperes, painful shock, loss of muscular control. 9 to 49 milliamperes, the freezing current or let go range. That means the average individual cannot let go but can be thrown from the current source. 50 to 150, extreme pain, respiratory arrest, severe muscular contraction. Death is possible here. Next 151 to 2000 milliamperes, rhythmic pumping action of heart ceases, muscular contraction and the nerve damage occur. Death is likely. So above 2000 milliamperes, cardiac arrest, internal organ damage and severe burns, death is probable. So you have one more table in your textbook. Go to that also. This is as per the examination. They are not going to ask, just only for knowing children. Don't worry. Why does not a bird gets shock when it stands on a high voltage wire? So actually there are two parallel transmission lines on electric poles. The potential difference between these two lines is 240. You know the potential difference means between two points. So the same way the potential difference between these two transmission lines will be 240 throughout the length from one pole to other pole. Okay, if you connect any conducting device across these two wires, it causes current to flow between wires. But when a bird stands on a high voltage wire, there is no potential difference between the legs of the bird because it stands on a single wire. Okay, so no current passes through the bird, hence it does not feel any electric shock. This is the reason why bird does not get a shock when it stands on a high voltage wire. So this is the picture we see often while the birds early morning they stand on the wires even though they are not affected with electric shock. Factors affecting resistance of a conductor, children. Activities are there in your textbook. Let us understand these factors. Then I'll go with the activities. So first one is length of a conductor. Next one is area of cross section of a conductor, or we can call it as a thickness of the conductor, nature of the material, temperature of the conductor. In detail, one after the other, I will discuss. Then after completing this, in the next video, we are going to discuss the activities what you have in your textbook. First point is length of the conductor. The resistance of a conductor is directly proportional to its length. That means we know that what is resistance? Resistance is the obstruction to the flow of electrons in a conductor. So as you increase the length of a conductor, we will find more is the obstruction for the flow of electrons. So that's the reason R is directly proportional to L. Okay, where L is the length of a conductor. So here you have to remember a few points. When the length of a wire is doubled, that means its length increases. Automatically resistance also gets doubled. If the length of the wire is half, then its resistance also gets halved. Okay, in this way you have to remember. So on the whole, what we have to remember in short way, a long wire or a long conductor will have more resistance and the short wire will have less resistance. So second factor is area of cross section of a conductor, or we can call it as a thickness of a conductor. So the resistance of a conductor is inversely proportional to its area of cross section. That means R is inversely proportional to A, where A is called the area of cross section. Okay. And here just listen children. When the area of cross section of a wire is doubled, the resistance gets halved. And if the area of cross section of wire is half, the resistance will get double. That means a thick wire has a greater area of cross section and a thin wire has a smaller area of cross section. You have to remember. A thick wire has a greater area of cross section and a thin wire has a smaller area of cross section. As we know that R and A are inverse related, a thick wire has less resistance and a thin wire has more resistance. So on the whole, after learning length and area, we have to remember like this. Short length of a thick wire is used for getting low resistance and a long length of a thin wire is used for getting high resistance. So if you want a more amount of a current, you have to go with the short length of a thick wire. If you want a less amount of current, we have to go with the long length of a thin wire. So coming to nature of a material, resistance depends on the nature of the material of which it is made. Some materials have a low resistance whereas others have a high resistance. So if we take two similar wires having equal length and thickness, one is copper as well as a nichrome alloy, we find the resistance of a nichrome wire is almost 60 times more than that of copper. which shows that the resistance of a conductor depends on the nature of the material of a conductor. About this, we are going to learn in the next video in depth. Okay. Effect of temperature. So the resistance of all the pure metals increases on raising the temperature and decreases on lowering the temperature. So you have to remember that the resistance of alloys like nichrome, manganese, constantine is almost unaffected by temperature. About this also in depth we are going to learn in the next video. So in today's class we have learned what is resistance, electric shock, and the factors affecting the resistance of a conductor. With this, I'll conclude today's class. Have a good day. I'll meet you in the next online video class. Thank you, children.